Welcome back to the indoor practice facility, our final preview and predictions of the season until we get to the playoff.
I guess
I can't say final because
season, I guess postseason.
Yeah, our first one of 3 for the postseason. How about that?
There you go.
That sound better?
Yeah, I like it, yeah.
Big game this week. Anytime you're playing for the ACC championship, regardless of who the opponent is, it's a huge game. Clemson has seen over the years. They played a lot of different teams, and they've gotten the best performance of the year from most of those teams they played. So I expect Pitt to come out and give their best performance Saturday night, and Clemson's going to have to come out and play much better on defense. But we're going to get in a little bit to our keys. I'm going to do ladies first and let Joanne start with her key to the game.
Well, my key to the game may be kind of a lazy answer, but I really think it is just Clemson showing up. I mean, after their performance last week, I mean, if Miami can hold them to 3, I can only imagine what our defense can do to them. And Miami's only, I think, 7-5, so they're a pretty average team, and we are most definitely not an average team, being undefeated. I think the key is really just showing up. Now, if they do pick up on what Carolina did last week, I mean, Brent Venables is known to change plays up at the very last second. And I don't know why Carolina was the first team, to really pick on that and do that fast pace that kind of put our defense offset. So I think if Pitt picks up on that, it'll be a little more difficult, but I still think Clemson, this will be an pretty easy game for Clemson.
All right, Will, what's your key to victory?
Yeah, it's similar. I think it's to stop those 2 running backs Pitt has. I mean, their quarterback is I've watched him play several times this year, and though he seems like a good leader, and because he has got him to the championship game, and you give him credit for that, but he doesn't have the ability to make the plays that Jake Bentley made last week, not on a consistent basis, or the kid at Duke, Daniel Jones. He's not that kind of quarterback. So it's just stop those 2 running backs, which are 2 very physical running backs. They're more physical than James Conner was, who played Clemson a few years ago and really kind of laid the wood on, Dorian O'Daniel and those guys. These guys are just as physical, maybe more, and but they're going to run between the tackles. So it's all about if that defensive line can get the push and get up in there and do like Miami did last week, shut them down. Miami held them to 1.7 yards per carry last week. I think Clemson can do the same thing. I think that's the key. When Clemson does that and makes that quarterback have to beat them, he's not going to be able to beat Clemson.
Well, my key to the game is going to be a little bit, I guess, kind of generic, is to play championship football. We've talked for the last month about how they get into the championship phase of the season. The championship phase really begins this week.
Yeah.
To win a national championship, which is what Clemson wants, which is the reason the Power Rangers came back, they've got to start playing better every week from here on out. So I want to see them play. They got over there on the wall, best as the standard. I want to see the offense and the defense and the special teams all start playing up to that standard. I don't think they have to do that this week to get the win, but I think they need to, because that's the way they're going to need to play the next 3 games if they want to come home with the big trophy in January. So now we're going to go to our predictions. Joanne, we'll let you go first.
I'm going to say 55-3 because I know shutout usually doesn't go pretty well, as we can see with Will's predictions.
How'd that work out with?
Not very well.
I think if they can score 3 on Miami, I'll at least give them 3, but I don't think they're going to get more. I don't think they're going to get in the end zone. So, yeah, 55-3.
All right, Will. 55-3, what you going to go against that with?
Well, if Miami can score 24 on them, then that tells me Clemson can double that, so that's 48 there. And then I'm tired of doing the shutouts. I'm tired of saying they won't give up a touchdown because something always happens. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go 48-10. I think Pitt gets some kind of touchdown in the game at some point, but maybe it's a defensive touchdown or something. I don't know, but they'll get 10 points. 48-10.
All right, this one I'm a little torn on because you want to think the defense is gonna come out angry and make a statement, but I also kind of feel like Pitt's gonna. They're going to play their best game of the year, and they're probably going to get some points. Clemson's certainly going to call the dogs off a little bit like they tried to do. I think a lot of people forget with 12 minutes to go in that game Saturday night, Clemson's up 49-21. Will Sweeney's in the game. Logan Rudolph's in the game at defensive end. Clemson called off the dogs before South Carolina got those last 2 touchdowns. So I think Clemson will call off the dogs again. No, they were not. If you run off the score, you don't put Will Sweeney in the game with 12 minutes to go.
Even if they were running up the score, just tackle them. That's what it all comes down to. You just tackle them. Doggone, I can't stand when people do that. It's a rivalry game.
Yep.
I'm with the fans on that.
With them.
Yes.
Will in his Gamecock red today. He's with them.
Hey, but it's blue.
I'm gonna go high because I think Clemson offense they're playing at their championship level and playing better and better each week. I'm gonna go 63 again. Done that a couple times the last few weeks. I think Pitt will get some points, even though the defense will come out angry. So I'm going to go 63-21, and Clemson moves on to the college football playoff. Got 3 wins, 3 different scores. Obviously, we're all 3. I think I was close on the Clemson total, but way off on the South Carolina total. We were all way off on the South Carolina total last week. So we'll see how we do this week. Hopefully, as Dabo says, as long as it's a 1-point win, that's all that matters. So I think we all feel comfortable. We're going to see that, and we'll see Clemson in the college football playoff. Stay tuned to TCI all weekend long. We'll have everything covered from Charlotte, and stay tuned to TCI for the most complete coverage of Clemson football.